We have hit the very last agenda item for the day. Thank you to all those who have made it this far and who have stuck with us since early this morning. So now I'm going to invite back to the stage Alfonso Pompa Padilla, Minister of Innovation from the state of Jalisco, and he's going to present us an overview of the Jalisco Tech Hub.
Well, thank you for staying till this moment of the meeting. And I understand that the only thing left for you to leave home is this presentation. So I'm going to make it painless and short, okay? And if you ask me, I would prefer to continue with the panel we just had, because so many opportunities were coming to my mind while I was listening to these guys. I mean, they were really presenting with a very optimistic opportunities for the relation of our two countries. But also when we present specific topics or strategies, is for us to understand how are they doing, how are you doing in Canada, and probably for you to understand how are we doing in Mexico, certain things, so we can jump in. And that's an open invitation for you to come to Mexico. And I mean, if we are presenting you some ideas and some strategies that we have developed, is not to brag about it, is to invite you to participate and hopefully to generate new opportunities between our countries. Also, I was thinking about that we have a very big brother in the middle of our two countries. That's the elephant in the room that we cannot avoid. And probably we don't want to avoid also, because even though they are tough and competitive, they are not a bad neighbor. They are very good for Mexico, and we understand that such a big country that sometimes we stop there and we don't go as far as Canada, and probably the same for Canada going south. But we tend to forget that there is a whole continent below Mexico, most of them Spanish-speaking continent, that we can go together, that we can create new opportunities also, not just focusing on businesses from Mexico to Canada or Canada to Mexico, but also what about if we find new ways of going into Latin America, which is a continent that still has a lot of, a long way to go to become a developed economy. So opportunities are there. And I do agree with the optimistic view of the prior panel that even though we know there are highs and lows in the economy and there are always challenges and opportunity, we should always be promoting and expanding our possibilities. And that's, I want to make a very brief presentation, hopefully for you to invite you to come to Jalisco and help us out with this, and probably for us to help you too. So this is Jalisco Tech Hub Act. It is, in a way, a response to the CHIPS Act that President Biden signed with the nearshoring and relocalization of the supply chain of very strategic industries such as semiconductors, chips, into North America. So, of course, we are a subnational government. We are not the federal government. We don't have the resources, nor we control the whole country. But we did what we consider to be good for Jalisco and to get into this opportunity. And this is a very brief presentation. Oh, I do have the control here. High-tech industry in Jalisco, just a quick history of 60 years. 60 years, and you can see some brand names that are very famous. Some of them already disappear. If Kodak doesn't exist anymore, it's not because they went to Jalisco, but probably they lasted more than they should because they went to Jalisco, and the same happened for so many others. You see Motorola, but in a way now we have NXP, which is an evolution of Motorola. So, but that's a very long history of very successful corporations that came into Jalisco, and they found Jalisco to be a very good place to do business, and mostly because rule of law, and also because of talent. Mostly because of talent. You will be surprised. that most of these corporations are now run by Mexicans, at least operations in Mexico, and that they do take very important global responsibilities. Dina is here. Dina works for IBM, and she is in charge of supply chain for a very important part of IBM. So I wonder how is the IBM stock doing today, because she is here, not working in IBM. But there are so many examples. And also Mexican engineers contributing a lot to the design and development of the product. So you see that in the last decade or so, we have moved to more advanced campus and research sites like Intel. Some of them I already mentioned in the morning, but you can see here at least Bosch, Oracle, AstraZeneca, NXP, C3 AI, Infineon. All of them do have campuses, and the wages are competitive with Canada, even with the States. So talent is becoming a big issue, and talent is becoming scarce, as in any technological hub. So we do have the need of your support for some of these ideas. The nearshoring opportunities, you know the reasons of the nearshoring. It's not only the pandemic, it's not only the war in Ukraine, and now in the middle, between Israel and Palestinian, and also the tension between main China and Taiwan, which could be the end of the world as we know it if something happens there. But it's not only the Suez Canal having big problems that they do have now, or the Panama Canal also running out of water. So logistics around the world is becoming so complicated that to have a resilient supply chain, you better be close and have different ways of accessing the supply chains. That's why Mexico is becoming important again. In the prior history of high tech that I presented you, of course, we had ups and downs. For example, in around 2000, many of the companies migrated to China, and now they are coming back. And they are coming back, I mean, you can see them at the airport in Guadalajara coming back and investing a lot of money in Mexico, and some of the very important, not only American companies, German companies, Chinese companies, Indian, all of them are coming to near shore and to be in the same time frame as the States and Canada. So opportunities are there for you too also. And then we visited, as we do almost every year, Silicon Valley. We are, our most important partner is Silicon Valley. And the governor attended this meeting, and all of us got the idea very clearly on how fast the industry was moving out of Asia into North America. I mean, you can see almost as a football team changing a strategy and listening to the machinery changing now, instead of developing the whole strategy from Asia, moving again to America. And so we had to respond rapidly also to take advantage of that, since we have been partners since 60 years ago or so. And the governor signed this Tech Hub Act. Tech Hub Act is a way of continuing the strategies we have developed during his administration in the next administration. If you change the laws, of course, they can be changed also in the future, but it's going to take more time. So many of the public policies that we have created will continue, because we are ending this year. The 6th of December, you won't find me easily. I will be sailing away of Jalisco, because we finished the 5th of December. But I will be forever ready to help you in any idea you have to develop in Mexico or Latin America. So this will continue. This will continue, and we are pretty sure we are going to win also the election in the state of Jalisco. So the Jalisco Tech Hub Act has three main strategies. One is infrastructure readiness. And believe me, Jalisco has very good infrastructure, very good. Even the airport in Jalisco is becoming the most important for cargo. And of course, we have so many direct flights to everywhere. and that's increasing also, and it's a lot of investment in the Jalisco airport. We have another international airport in Vallarta also, but also we have land and many facilities, private facilities for new companies coming into town. Water is also, it is an issue in Mexico, but Jalisco has taken the proper steps and a lot of investment also to assure we have enough water for the city and for the development of the city. And energy is also a big issue. Fortunately, we have so many Canadian investment also in energy, and hopefully that's another opportunity to continue growing because energy is going to grow, the need for energy in the future. So that's an opportunity. And then in the last part of the presentation, we have incentives. And we have not used a lot of incentives to attract investment in Jalisco. Since the beginning of this government, we decided we better invest in make the city better in terms of mobility, health services, education, rule of law, and not by giving away so many incentives that it is not the time for Jalisco to give. I mean, we have done it in the past, but now we are in a different position. So we become more selective in which companies want to come to Jalisco. And believe me, all of them, they want to come to Jalisco, they ask us for talent. And talent means, of course, better educated management, engineers, masters, and of course the labor, the operators, they gotta be very well trained also. And we are doing a lot in that sense. So all of the companies mentioned, it's okay if you give us some incentives. It's okay if you provide some facilities in terms of the land or the buildings. But what makes the difference if we have a pool of talent, well-trained, that we can expand our operations in Jalisco. And believe me one thing, in Jalisco we are almost at full employment. Even though we are at full employment, we are always expanding and trying to promote new adventures, new venues, new ways of developing the state, because we know how economy works. We could be full employment today, but if something happens with the climate or something happens in tourism, they will go down. And so we need to have another opportunity. That's why we are always looking for expansion, even though we are at full employment. And we came with this idea. If you want to develop talent, it is like fishing. I like to say so. If you want to fish, where do you go? You go where you believe the fishes are. You won't go to any place. You will try to find, or at least think as a fish, and say, well, if I was a fish, I was going to be near the rocks and where the green is and whatever. So, I'm not a fisherman, as you can say. But at least if you are looking for fishes, we decided to do something quick and fast. And we ask where the fishes are, where the talent is, or where the pipeline of talent is. And of course, there is the basic and middle school. And by the way, Jalisco is doing great also in that. My colleague, the Ministry of Education, my admiration of what he's done to increase the STEM attraction for the students and to do better quality education and whatever. But that's going to take us a lot of years. I mean, if you have a K to 12 education system, I mean, some of them will take 6 years to come into the pool of talent. Some of them will take 12 years. So that's okay if they're doing so. But we had to go to where most of the talent is. And I mean, not a big discovery, but most of them are at universities already. And they need to have a better education. And they have to have an updated and new technologies and better education in general, even the faculty. The faculty has to go also through a different mindset and to be trained and to be certified in new technologies. And we need to provide labs and whatever we need to make it stronger. So in undergraduates, we have roughly 55,000 students studying some kind of program related to advanced manufacturing, IT, or electronics. So 55,000 in the state of Jalisco is not a small amount. So if we can get them all up to date, and better educated, and also if some of them speak very good English, we are moving in the right direction. Okay, and also we went to industry. Industry, they do have more than 200,000 employees, but we got only the professionals, the business or the engineers, 27,000. Also, all of them need to improve their credentials, and they want to study master programs or have specific certifications or whatever. So we decided, let's work with them first. That's going to give us an advantage sooner than working all the way from basic education to university. And that's what we are doing. And also there is another very important pool of talent, which is reskilling, upskilling people already in the labor market. I mean, many of us studied engineering, for example, and then run away from engineering because life, it is like that. But probably even I do have still the capability of be upskilled or reskilled for the industry, the new trends in industry, the new technologies. So we are doing great also with this part of the population. And of course, not all of them are as old as myself. Some of them are very young. So, and well, by the way, that's another point, external recruitment. We have developed a very nice way of attracting talent from the rest of Latin America, which is hiding challenges. We have an organization that are very good of creating hiding challenges using technology from afar. And so the companies make these interested and potentially recruits from them participate. They see them, how they compete or how they perform in specific challenges, and then they decide who to invite for the process of recruitment. And I mean, some of the companies that are they have very high standards of recruitment have found talent from all over Latin America. And Guadalajara is also a very attractive city, so they are coming gladly to work in Guadalajara. So that's the way we are. And that's in my Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. I told you in the morning that we are also the Ministry of Higher Education. That's why we are working on this. So mostly that's the most important part of the presentation. This is what we are doing to provide or to attract or to develop talent for the next stage in the economic development of the high-tech industry in Jalisco. And it is mostly in three strategic areas. Advanced manufacturing. We have some of the most important manufacturers in the world based in Guadalajara. Foxconn, Jabil, Flex, Sanmina. I mean, all of them do have 20,000 employees in Jalisco or more in Mexico, but the headquarters for Mexico are located in Jalisco. And all of them are taking every year operations more sophisticated, even participating in the design of the new products and the development of the new products. So we need to provide the talent for management and engineering for them to work. And that's also a very important part of the economy in Jalisco. And then we have electronics, especially chips, and Intel, NXP, and Infineon. I mean, these three campuses could be here, could be in London, could be in New York. I mean, every city would like to have these R&D campuses in the neighborhood, and we do have it. And they pay very good salaries, and they create a lot of talent for the rest of the population. For example, to give you an example, we have one program with Intel that we are training 100 engineers and masters with 3 specific certifications for all of them. We are investing almost $1 million, not only in that program, but also with a research center, which is Simvestab, and almost $1 million, but Intel is investing at least double that. So $3 million to develop 100 highly talented and skilled engineers for the chips industry. That's one of the examples. We are creating a new program also for in artificial intelligence. We love to work with Canada in that program specifically. We have tried in the past with Mila in Montreal. We have done some advances, especially with Ibado, because there is a Mexican there, a Mexican that is bright, Morales is his last name, and he likes to go to Mexico, and we love him. So we love Canadians also. But please, we'll treat you very well. And not kidding, Canadians are very well seen, I'm sure, in every corner of the world, but especially in Mexico, we love Canadians. Okay, so please. And then we have what I already mentioned, artificial intelligence with all the steps that you know. And I am done. I could tell you how are we doing that, but I prefer you to go to Jalisco and I will let you know there how are we doing and how much are we investing in all of these specific aspects. And I just want to close with a remark of how I am glad that I decided to come to this meeting. I was having really problems to find the day. I decided to come just one day. Tomorrow I had to fly back to Jalisco. But it's my appreciation for the Mexican Embassy and for Invest Ottawa, and especially for all of you that presented during the day. I mean, a lot of very interesting ideas. I am impressed by the talent that was present today and sharing their views, their experiences, their knowledge, and their ideas. So I agree with some of you that decided next year should be done in Puerto Vallarta. We still have time this year before May, before it gets too hot there. You're always welcome in Jalisco. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. I think if our colleague from Air Canada is still here, if we're going to Puerto Vallarta, your sponsorship next year might be a little higher than this year. We will be chartering a plane. All right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us all day. We have gotten to the closing remarks. Thank you to all of the moderators, all of the speakers, all of the keynotes, but of course, many thanks to our sponsors, Man Lawyers, Scotiabank, Air Canada, and Global Advantage Consulting. And then of course, thank you to our partners and everyone who put so much work. I've heard that this has been more than 6 months of just crazy work, even down until yesterday, last night, they were working hours and hours on putting the agenda together and the speaking notes and everything. So there has been so much work gone into today. And those partners are the government of Jalisco. We have the University of Ottawa, EON Institute, My Tax. I will take a raise for how good I did today. The Mexican Chamber of Electronics, Telecommunications, and Information Technologies, AI, The New Sexy, Carleton University, Spoonity, and Institut Courtois. That wraps up the day. So thank you to everyone.